Hello and welcome to the quiz setting tool. I'm going to demonstrate how to use this tool that compiles quizzes that are used in league matches. I won't go through the text on this screen, but just to say that the web address that you're going to need is here. Okay, this begins by opening the template generator. I've linked to it here. The template generator is used to make a template that is pasted into cell A1 of a spreadsheet. Now typically I like to pick the subjects that are the Trivial Pursuit subjects plus current affairs and miscellaneous. And then when I click calculate distribution, it will make a template that I can then paste into an Excel. I'm going to move to another sheet because that can take several seconds. So I'm going to copy the data and then paste it into cell A1 of a spreadsheet. So it's now on the clipboard and I moved back to my spreadsheet. This can be Excel, Google Sheets, or anything you like. Okay, I'll go through the fields. Sort is what we're going to sort on when we're finished writing the quiz. Index is if we want to return it to this state. So this is just a sequential number from 1 down to 68. Num is the player number, the player who's going to be asked the question. Level is the difficulty of the question. So 1 is easy, 2 is medium easy, 3 is medium hard, and 4 is hard. Pair, this shows how the questions are linked together. So there are 32 pairs in this quiz. The subjects are the subjects you selected earlier. The round is the round number, and the player is the player who's going to be asked the question. Okay, I'll pretend that I've filled in all of my questions and answers. And then we have this sheet. I'll take off the filter. We can see that we've written our quiz in pairs and that the first half of the pair gets asked in the first half, i.e. rounds 1 to 4, and the second part gets asked in a round that is between round 5 and round 8. And that obviously no pair of questions gets asked to the same team. What I'll do now is I'll sort the data so it's in the order that it will end up in. So always sort on the column that says sort. And now we can see that the round and player data is much neater. You'll also see that there are 8 different subjects within the round, and there are 4 different levels that are going to be asked per team in the round. We can also filter the data and see what questions each player is going to face. So we'll see what player 1. We'll see that this person is player 1A in the first half and player 1B in the second half. We'll see that he has 8 different subjects and that he has 2 questions at each level. At this point we can go through and see if somebody has an easy ride or a difficult ride, and we can make adjustments as necessary, but we'll assume that we've done all that and clear the filters. Now we'll go back to our setting tool. And we'll see that the place to paste this quiz is this box here. We only need the round, player, question and answer data, but if we have these additional columns, it's useful to include them. So what I'm going to do now is paste that data. I'll return to the Excel. I'll copy all of the data, paste it into the box, and then click the button that says the quiz has been pasted. Okay, on this screen we can make edits and to the formatting and the text of the questions. So you might want to replace this with the word football, or even UEFA football. And this is also where we do all of our underlining. So we can highlight the text and click underline, and we can also do other formatting like italics, and we can also do partial underlining. So at this point we would go through the entire quiz and insert all of our formatting. Okay, we'll pretend we've done that and click Done Formatting and Editing. At this point we have some fields that we can fill in. All of them are optional, but the important ones are the setter and the general notes that go along with the quiz, which I'll add with this button. This notes that all rounds are general and some details about surnames. We can also include a results email. This can be used to email the result when the quiz is is written. Because we're only testing, I'm going to use a password ABC, but in reality, long passwords, normally 16 characters, with 8 characters sent to the home captain and the last 8 characters sent to the away captain. That's how things are normally done in London. Okay, when I click lock and download, this will download 2 files. They'll be date stamped, date and time stamped, and these will contain the quiz that is going to be shared with the teams. The password file is the file that you need to be careful with. Okay, I'll lock and download the file. I may at this point need to allow multiple files to be downloaded, which I'll do. Okay, so now what I'll do is I'll open the file that can be sent to the teams. The advice here is to edit this file name, which you can do following the instructions, but I won't do that because we're just showing a test. So at this point we enter our password. At this point we're at the match, and it may well be that the home captain has the first 8 characters of the password and the away captain has the last 8 characters. So this is the point where we're reading the quiz. So I'll key in the password. In this case, because we're testing, it's just ABC. And then we have our details sheet. This is where we include the details of the players and the home teams, the away teams, and if we have start scores, either for players or for the teams, we can add those here too. What I'll do now is I'll add the default information. Okay. And only at the point where we've got all of the information that we need do the buttons for the team going first appear. So if we didn't have the name of the questioner, these buttons would not appear. Also, if we included various details on the other sheets, they would appear in these boxes here. Now we can click. So normally we'd have a coin toss or the away team would choose. In this example, Broken Hearts are the away team and they've decided to go first. Okay, on this sheet, this is the opening sheet of the quiz, and we can see that the notes from where we set the quiz have also been included. If we had included the other details, they would be included here. Okay, as we scroll down, we have here a note for the question master, and this is to show how they deal with things if mistakes are made. And this is done by using this drop down. Also, if the teams are sat in a different way, we can flip the teams over, which is done with this button. So the idea is this is in plan form for the person reading the quiz, so they can see down the table the players in the seats. Okay, we'll simulate one round of a match. So we have 10 buttons in the match. So it can go to the player whose question it is for 2 points, and that player's name is noted before the question. Or it can go to any of the other players for 1 point, or it could indeed go for an X. So we'll have this question go for an X. And then we'll carry on. What I'll do is I'll give 2 points to every other player during the round. So we'd be reading the questions and assigning points. And as we're doing this, the button at the top of the screen is showing how many points each team has got. So because this is a demonstration, we're just speeding through it. So this is the end of the round. It notes that this is the end of the round, so the question master can read out the round score. So the round score is shown below the team score. And in this case, because Grey Monk's team got all of their questions for 2, there's also an asterisk shown, which indicates that they got a roundhouse. I'm not going to carry on doing the entire quiz, but this flips the teams over at half-time and always shows which player is facing which question. It's also impossible to read out a question out of turn because, so round 2, 1A is the next question, but round 2, 1B is not shown because we haven't clicked anything in these boxes. If, for example, we were to click a button and we were to misclick, we can edit this situation by going edit, and we can change what happened. Or we can add a spare. And all of this information is noted in the score sheet. Okay, what I'll do now is I'll scroll down to the end of the quiz. We also have a clock so that the reader, if the reader is the timekeeper as well, they can do that. We'll scroll down to the end of the quiz. Normally we'd have asked all of these questions. Once we get to the end of the quiz, we click on a button, copy the result to the clipboard. After copying the result, as the text says here, it still only exists on the device that it's being read off of. But there's various ways that it can be shared. It might be that the person shares it by email, which is common, in which case, if the email address was included in the setting tool, we would click on the email and it would open up the email client and email the quiz. We can also click on the scoreline button, and this shows a representation of the score sheet and also shows a QR code. So also at the end of the quiz, the person reading the questions can show this QR code to anyone with a smartphone and an app, for example, Google Lens, and they can grab the result and then email that to the appropriate people. So the most important people to get the results are going to be the organisers of the quiz. So I'll close that. We could have clicked email here and that would do the same thing. The spares are shown at the end of the quiz. Anyway, and that's about it. So that's how to set the quiz, read the quiz, score the quiz, and transmit the results. So hopefully that is an end-to-end process for running quizzes in a quiz league. Thank you for listening.